we're here to discuss a topic that is on the forefront of every state in the union's agenda, and that is the role of higher education in the development of workforce and as it relates to all of economic development. Last year we were charged, and from this podium we were charged, and I charged you to be a change agent in higher ed. To that end, we've seen an overall increase in both statewide graduation rates and completers in STAR-related fields, and over the years, our two-year institution have significantly increased their enrollment. That trend is, both of those are good. Both of those are because of the dedicated effort of all of the systems. Some of our systems have really participated in those movements, as the LCTCS has, and then the others of the graduates and the STEMs. I congratulate you for that. That wouldn't happen without your support and without your guidance. In my mind, higher education is the precondition to economic development. Think about that remark. Precondition. It must exist before there will be, or there is a possibility for economic development. In states across the country, higher education institutions and systems have been the key drivers of the economic development in various states and the revitalization of their communities. They're putting their research power to work by developing new ideas that will enhance our country's competitiveness. They're positioning new innovations for commercial use. They're providing research based on services to businesses and industry, including customized job training programs, hands-on counseling, technical help, management assistance, and then guiding, through those efforts, they're guiding the cultural and social and educational revitalization of the communities that they find themselves in. Higher ed is the key to its success within a knowledge-based economy. For several years, the Board of Regents has been working on initiatives that focus on greater collaboration between higher education and the workforce. The prioritization of higher education is a must. It must be the priority for this state, or we will not be able to support the business and industries that are here and that are purporting to want to come here. But as we discussed yesterday, until that ultimate trigger is pulled, there is no real economic development. I believe that our state is on the brink of an unprecedented economic growth cycle. Industries are looking for both credentialed and skilled workforce. Our systems must be focused on the enhancement of educational programs that are aligned with high growth industries. These programs include engineering, computer science, finance and accounting, data and analytical efforts, technology, construction crafts, advanced manufacturing operations. We must provide collaborative leadership to ensure that our colleges and universities are in fact and indeed meeting those challenges. Educational opportunities need to be accessible to all. They must be accessible to all, or our communities will wither in certain segments. Several weeks ago, the U.S. Census Bureau confirmed that Louisiana's population outmigration between the states declined again during the last reporting year. Between July 1st, 2012, July 1st, 2013, Louisiana lost 2,492 residents to residential moves to other states. That's a decline that's more than double the net loss from the previous year, which was 1,243 residents. This is particularly alarming to me because unfortunately, the area I'm from, Shreveport, is leading the way. This number, those numbers are staggering, sobering, and quite frightening. The solution to that, to this out-migration, is through workforce and education alignment. We must reverse the trend of educating our citizens for economies in other states, and we must have skilled and educated a skilled and educated workforce for our people, for our jobs. The workforce alignment is crucial. It's crucial to support our citizens and then the economy of our state. The charge for us and for you as leaders of your respective systems is to continue advocating for additional state support for higher education so that we can address the aforementioned economic needs. You must continue to support funding higher education in a manner that is fair and equitable and appropriately address funding where the students and associated costs are. Where the students are is where we need to be spending our dollars. Think significantly, we must speak in harmony, one voice, so that there's a clarity about the needs of higher education, and that will be paramount as we move into the coming legislative session. I'm optimistic, and I hope you are. Like I feel that higher education et al. will rise to this particular occasion. We do not yet understand what the real number from the budget will be for all of us. Then it will be our job at the Board of Regents for equitable distribution. We will all have conversations between now and then. We will all see some of the numbers change as they go through legislation and as the legislators and the administrators have their say in this process. By June the 3rd, we'll know where we are. There are some pitfalls. There are some uncertainties as always, but I do believe we've changed a corner. I mean, we rounded a bit of a corner. We are at least stable at the plateau of last year. It remains to be seen how we progress from there. It's a great pleasure for me to introduce Charlotte Bollinger, whose wisdom created this effort.
Well, it's such a treat to see all of you here this morning. Wonderful. You know, how privileged are we as members of the Board of Regents to welcome you to this, the 4th Trusteeship Conference, an idea that was mentioned to us by Tom Lazell, and I thought this is the venue I've been looking for where we could all be in the same room together and get to know each other. You know, we as Regents understand that it's our job to manage policy and budget, and that we are your partners in doing that. We simply can't do that if we don't know each other, share ideas, and have days like this where we all hear big ideas on the most important topics that affect all of us. This type of exchange, as a matter of fact, is not happening in every state in this country. In fact, it's only happening in less than half. But the idea is spreading because it is the best idea for collaboration. One thing we have learned, or I have learned for sure, from watching the United States Congress in the last 2 years, is that very little happens when people do not speak to each other. That is not happening right now in the world of higher education in Louisiana. We are communicating better than ever with each other and sharing our best practices. We are finding efficiencies, and how can we not be encouraged by the levels of communication and collaboration that are happening among us today? It is commendable that higher education leaders came together recently with the administration, Secretary Icey, and Secretary Morey. This initiative could not have happened without the leadership of Sandra Woodley, King Alexander, and the involvement of Roy Martin and Chairman Raspberry. The result is the WISE plan, and I'm hopeful that this type of collaboration will continue and produce a beneficial cycle for higher education delivery, skilled workforce, job creation, and economic growth. Of course, there are many other partnerships that are happening. Our institutions have established partnerships with several large companies which have resulted in more than $80 million of new private monies for our campuses. Isn't that a wonderful thing? A few weeks ago, LSU announced that over $52 million had been raised privately to create expansions to the Patrick Taylor College of Engineering. Phyllis Taylor and Harry Longwell led that campaign and completed it in record time, thanks to people like Roy Martin, who's in our audience today. Thank you, Roy, so much for what your company did for that. Last week, my friend Warner Williams, who is retiring from Chevron Transportation, who also, by the way, gave a big donation to the School of Engineering, I think close to what you did, Roy. He told me that Chevron today, this day, could hire 600 engineers. They're short 600 engineers. He also said that his company could hire all the engineers, no matter the discipline, not just petroleum engineers, that this state could produce in their colleges and universities. Isn't that amazing? They could hire every single engineer, no matter the discipline, that we produce in any college of engineering in this state. That's one company. Of course, the all companies have changed the requirements for all jobs within their industry, and this has had a huge impact on our community college system. The LCTCS is responding to the emerging skilled labor demand by revamping their industry-based training and investing millions of existing funds to create new offerings statewide. And of course, the all industry has put in millions of dollars as a partner with them. The Southern system has placed a statewide emphasis on small business development with initiatives at all their campuses. They are offering technical assistance, research-based data to aspiring and existing business owners in underserved populations around this state. The UL system has partnered with MyEd to provide its 90,000 students online and mobile academic access tools. They provide a virtual resume builder to students and a direct connection to employers for jobs and internships. The industry can use this tool to quickly find qualified candidates through one platform instead of having to search through 9. Beautiful, a wonderful thing. With over $2 billion in physical plant investment coming in 2 years, within 2 years, there will be a need here for 80,000 skilled workers. You know, when at my house on Sunday, whatever Mama wants to cook is what the family has to eat. That's how it goes. And here, we know that we have this coming, and we're getting ready for it, and that's what we're going to be preparing for, and that's what everybody's going to have to be involved in. It should be no surprise that the topic for today, since I got to be chairman, I got to pick the topic, right? And it's going to be all about workforce. That's what it's about, and that's what we're going to be talking about all day long today, and how it aligns with higher education, with all the best ideas to do that. I believe that we are well on our way to listening, responding, and closing the gap between how we prepare our students for good jobs and how employers get what they want and need. And it was not like that, not in the recent history. Like many companies, we at Bollinger Shipyards find the forecasting of where to find skilled workers as one of the most disturbing unknowns in bidding new work. Just last week, we were awarded a design contract that could result in the need for 2,600 new workers should we win the contract to build a new fleet for the United States Coast Guard. We have been very lucky. We have won the last 4 contracts like that to build the last 4 fleets. So there's a good chance we could get it. And the total cost implementation of a contract like that could be $10.5 billion for this state. What an exciting idea, right? but pretty daunting and pretty scary for those of us who have to provide